Well, I guess it's official now. Let's talk about this, shall we? So today we just found out some big DC news. For starters, we got an official release date for Clayface and Dynamic Duo, along with a little update on the Superman trailer. Let's start with Dynamic Duo since that is short and simple. The film will release on June 30th, 2028, and man, that wait is just crazy. I definitely understand why because it's animated and all, but man, that wait is so long, I can't even imagine what my life will be like by then. But regardless, it is what it is, and I'm still excited for it. Now for Clayface, that film will release on September 11th, 2026. The film will be a part of the DCU and will be produced by Matt Reeves and Lynn Harris. Honestly, really glad this is in the DCU, because if we are gonna get a Clayface film, I don't want to see it grounded in reality. So it being in the DCU, that makes me very happy because now we can see some fantastical elements. The film is said to begin filming early next year and will be written by Mike Flanagan. Now, if you are a horror fan, that should get you really excited. While he isn't directing, which is a bummer, he is still writing, but he has proven time and time again that he understands horror. So now to see him do a Clayface movie is really interesting. But now let's address the elephant in the room. This movie is happening before we get films for Batman or Wonder Woman in the DCU. I've already seen many criticisms like that, and I think that is a fair criticism. However, when it comes to Batman specifically, they already have the Batman 2 about to film later next year, and Brave and the Bold isn't close to being done. And sadly, Wonder Woman's popularity has dipped, in part thanks to Wonder Woman 1984 and her past few appearances. So it seems like DC is waiting on her for now, which is really depressing since she is such a great character. Because for a while, I've seen a lot of people frustrated over the direction that DC is heading in. One of them being how established this world is. For some things like Hal Jordan, I get that, but I actually really like that approach. The other thing is them not focusing on their more well-known heroes and instead focusing on lesser knowns. Instead of doing like what Marvel did, where it's like one hero after another. And honestly, that is a fair criticism. I completely get that. But for Clayface specifically, I don't think it's the worst idea. Let me explain. Because compared to other characters, I don't think Clayface would need a big budget. Take The Authority, for example. That film would probably cost a lot to make, and that's probably rated R. So it's a lot harder to make it profitable. But Clayface, that is something I don't think would cost much, especially if it's a horror film. Besides the CGI, it wouldn't really affect much. So I think this isn't the worst move because this is something that I think could be profitable if the budget is handled right. If not, well, oof. Even looking at other projects, we have heard a Sergeant Rock film has been greenlit and is eyeing Daniel Craig to star. And similar to Clayface, that also wouldn't cost a lot. So I don't think that's the worst idea. I think it's very clear DC is not going for the Marvel approach where it's one hero after another and then a big team up film. If you can't see that by now, I don't know what to tell you. So while I definitely understand people that go, who asked for this? If the budget is handled right, I'll let it slide. Also, let's be real, when have we ever asked for anything? Films aren't made because we ask for it, it's because the writers have a story they want to tell. The whole who asked for it argument annoys me so much. Let's move on. Some things I get it for, but most of the times they always get proven wrong. Can we move on? Can we understand it now, please? And the other part I'm curious about is the whole Batman of it all. I definitely understand the people that always scoff whenever something Batman related is announced. They just announced Dynamic Duo, which we just talked about. They're making a Bane and Deathstroke movie. And there was even a show about Batman's car. But that's not what I want to talk about. Because if we are going to do a Clayface movie, I want to see him fight Batman. I don't want a Clayface movie without Batman. It's arguably the biggest problem with Sony's Spider-Man films, and even the Penguin to a certain extent. That show was great, don't get me wrong, but it felt like Batman didn't even exist. I get that series was meant to be about Oz, but still, it would have been nice to at least see a mention. And I would hate for DC to fall down the same rabbit hole and screw up like Sony does. But to play devil's advocate, I love Mike Flanagan, and he has wanted to do this for a long time. He said his approach is a horror, thriller, tragedy. And if he wants to do that, I'll let him cook. Also, Gunn has said numerous amount of times they are not going to greenlight a movie or show unless they have a great script. so I don't see a reason to do this unless it's something special. But to end this video off, let's talk about the Superman trailer. We have heard for a while that it is gonna drop sometime this month, and it is confirmed to drop early next week. Really glad that it is releasing this month, because for a movie like this, it needs top tier marketing. I'm talking Barbie level marketing. So I'm happy it's still happening. When the trailer does drop, I'll probably go more in depth than I am right now. So for now, let's just wait and see. But those are all my thoughts on the news. I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of all this news? Would you rather them do their big players first? Or are you fine with the direction they're going in? But that's all we got for today. Thanks again for clicking on another video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. But until next time, take care.